Hello and welcome back to Supper Clubs at Montview Church. We're in April.
I know.
The last month of Supper Clubs. We hope you've been having a really amazing time of fellowship and discussion and exploration of our scripture and these poems.
Yep.
I think we've had a lot of fun putting them together.
We've had a good time
we've had
doing
a great time.
Yeah.
We have been doing the life of Jesus, and so in April, we culminate, of course, with Easter. And the resurrection. So we'll have these well-known passages that will be familiar. And as always, we invite you to listen to these texts with new, fresh ears. Yeah.
We have two texts for this session, a very brief text and then another kind of narrative for Easter morning, one of the gospel narratives. But I'll read the first one.
Great.
From John 16, verses 19 through 22. Jesus knew that they wanted to ask him, so he said to them, "Are you discussing among yourselves what I meant when I said, 'A little while and you will no longer see me, and again a little while and you will see me'? Very truly I tell you, you will weep and mourn, but the world will rejoice. You will have pain, but your pain will turn into joy. When a woman is in labor, she has pain because her hour has come. But when her child is born, she no longer remembers the anguish because of the joy of having brought a human being into the world. So you have pain now, but I will see you again, and your hearts will rejoice, and no one will take your joy from you." Very descriptive.
Yeah. Let's then add this second passage from John, also well known, to put these two side by side in conversation. So from the Gospel of John, chapter 20, verses 13 through 18. They said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "They have taken away my Lord, and I don't know where they have laid him." When she had said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not know that it was Jesus. And Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you looking for?" Supposing him to be the gardener, she said to him, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him in Hebrew, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said to her, "Do not touch me, because I have not yet ascended to the Father. But go to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene went and announced to the disciples, "I have seen the Lord." And she told them that he had said these things to her.
All right. So our question always for the conversation is, what did you hear differently? What were words or phrases that leapt out that were new, maybe new, and reframing what you already thought?
Or an image, even if it's an image that came. Yeah.
Well, let me jump in. One of the, in some ways obvious, but I was made so aware this time, was the repetition of the emotional words, excuse me, pain and joy. Pain and joy, mourn and rejoice. So this weeping, this grief that is almost saturated in these two texts. There's grief that goes through them. Here it is Easter morning, and she is weeping and weeping, the text says twice, the gospel writer says twice. So it's Easter morning, and we talk about it being so cheerful and it's celebratory, right?
Yeah.
But these texts are filled with Jesus saying, there's grief in all of this. There's joy, but but you can't have one without the other, it seems.
Yeah, yeah. This was, I guess, not a surprise, but it really spoke to me. Mary Magdalene, she's the first evangelist. She's
She
the
went
very
and
first
announced.
one to go. I mean, talking about women preachers, right?
Yep.
She's the very first preacher. And of course, I sort of knew that, but I was reminded once again, like Mary's the
She's
first.
there.
Yeah, she's there. And so often in this, in these scriptures around Easter, the women are there. Like many of the
yeah.
men are sort of hiding,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
not out.
Yeah.
But so many
Yeah.
women are in,
Yeah.
in this,
Yeah.
in these passages around Easter.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
And all four Gospels write about the Easter account that morning, but they all have some differences. How many angels were there? Who said what? How many women were there? Which disciple elbowed the other one out to get into the tomb? And if you just let the story tell itself, they're kind of funny in some ways,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
they're
very human. Right?
very
Yeah,
human,
yeah,
very
right.
emotional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have added a poem, of course, since this is called Scripture and Poetry Around Supper. So we have a poem, and you want to say something about this poet, Edwin Markham?
Edwin Markham, yeah. So originally from Oregon, he also then moved down to Northern California. I remember reading Markham when I was younger, because I grew up in Northern California, and he went to college where part of my family's from, in Vacaville, and then in El Dorado County, he was an educator in Placerville, near where I grew up, and so I had never read this poem, but his work was often centered around justice, human flourishing, human dignity, social justice themes, really, especially with laborers in that part of the country. So it was great to read this new poem from Edwin Markham. So
All right, and this probably veers from maybe what he's
a little
known
bit.
for
Sure.
his themes.
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
good.
it's a short poem, but I think a very powerful poem. It's called Victory in Defeat. Defeat may serve as well as victory, to shake the soul and let the glory out. When the great oak is straining in the wind, the boughs drink in new beauty, and the trunk sends down a deeper root on the windward side. Only the soul that knows the mighty grief can know the mighty rapture. Sorrows come to stretch out spaces in the heart of joy.
So good.
So much in
And
just
that's
a few lines.
Yeah. And it ties so beautifully with these two scriptures.
The couple of the lines that stick out to us, to the opening. Defeat may serve as well as victory, to shake the soul and let the glory out.
Yeah. For me, like this idea that in the very difficult, painful times of life, echoing the scripture, right? Like being broken open to shake the soul. And it's through that breaking open in very painful ways that glory comes, that transformation comes. Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good.
And then the last line for me, there's so much in this. Sorrows come to stretch out spaces in the heart of joy. Like I picture this, like this balloon being blown up, filled with air that stretches out spaces, that makes room for joy, where we think that sorrow shrinks us, or something. I don't know. It's really cool.
Well, and they work together, right? So in our tradition, we don't celebrate suffering for suffering's sake. We know it's a transformative experience.
Which you spoke about that in
On
your
last
sermon.
Sunday, yeah. So
Very good. There's a lot here. We encourage you to have these on paper, even because you want to make marks and circle words and make connections, because that's how we do textual work. There are 3 questions for you. The first 2 are the same we asked every month, and that is, think about what you brought to the story of Easter, the resurrection story. What were already your ideas about it, your presuppositions, your assumptions about the story? Secondly, then, what is different by reading this story? What are new images? What are new words? What is new to you in this Gospel's rendition, the Gospel of John?
And the third, the one I have energy around is, what if you'd be willing to share with your supper club, what was a difficult time in your life where you had pain or you had some suffering or grief, and then now as you look back, how can you see that that was a moment of transformation that
Made space in the heart of
space for
joy.
the heart of joy.
Yeah, we all
and,
have 'em.
And share that around the table.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's your last time together for most of you who might not be continuing on. Sometimes supper club groups, they really enjoy each other, and so they continue to meet just for suppers throughout the summer and getting together. You can talk with your captain or as a group if you think you might want to continue on next year as a supper club. You let us know, let Heather Kerr know. I'm assuming Heather's going to be the captain again. I just made an assumption about that. But I will use that opportunity to thank Heather
Thank
Kerr
Heather
for
Kerr.
being the
Oh,
captain
gosh.
this year.
Yeah.
She had a lot of administrative coordination, but she loved it. And we love all of you. So thank you for being in supper clubs.
Thanks for
thank
being
you so
part
much.
of this. This has been great.
It's been really great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Have a good night.